All right, OLR exclusive fans, we are on with Tasha Scott. How are you today?
I'm doing good, and you?
We are excellent. All right, so
Great.
I know you're a very busy woman, so I'm going to get right into the interview. What made you decide to get into acting?
Oh, wow. I got into acting when I moved here from Louisville, Kentucky. I moved here from Louisville, Kentucky to pursue singing, to be a recording artist. And so I was here for about maybe a year and a half or so, and people started telling me that I needed to get an agent to do TV, and I figured it was like for Solid Gold or Soul Train or shows like that. And it was like, oh no, for like commercials and sitcoms, and I was like, oh no, I don't do that because I never even understood what acting was, for me. And then I got an agent, and I didn't work for about a year. And then my second agent, she said, "Oh my God, you're a natural." And I was like, "What do you mean that I'm a natural?" She said, "Just be yourself. That's all natural for you." So I said, "Okay, cool." And once I got my first gig, it was a commercial. It was for Alphabet cereal, and I was like, "Okay, I think I could do this." But I never really considered myself as being an actress because I know a lot of people, they study for that. But like I said, my agent just told me just be myself and do you, and that's what I had been doing, and I had just been booking, and so it just became a thing of, hey, I'm an actress.
That's awesome. So in 1988, you landed the role of Sarah on the TV series Throb with the late great Paul Walker. What was that experience like, and what was it like working with Paul?
Oh, wow. Um, it was crazy because it's kind of hard to remember some of those things because I was really young, but it was just crazy that they were looking for a girl that resembled like a Whitney Houston, and I don't remember what they saw me on, but they specifically asked for me to come and audition for the role, and I ended up singing a Whitney Houston song, and they was like, she's perfect, and the whole storyline was basically true to me because it was something that I had dreamed of coming from Kentucky just to move to Los Angeles or New York to pursue a career, go into a record company, just sing on the spot and get signed and become the biggest artist that there was. So it was really true to like my story. So it was just good to work with all those wonderful actors, especially the late great Paul Walker, which I never knew that look who he is, who he was today. So it was just great that they had asked for me specifically to come and actually do that role. It was just a wonderful experience, really good.
That's cool that they saw you and they're like, no, we want her. She's the one we want.
Yeah, I was the one that they wanted. There was so many other girls out there that was just as talented and beautiful, but it was like, we want her because she has that Whitney Houston sound that we are looking for.
That's so cool. That's awesome. And in the following year, 1989, you were in the film Kiss Shot, which also starred one of our previous guests, David Marciano. What was that experience like doing that movie, and how did you land that role? Also, what was it like working with David?
Oh, it was wonderful. Again, it was at that time I was like a hot commodity at that time. I was like landing a lot of different roles at that time, so it was almost like they were uh, calling my agent specifically, asking for me to come and do these roles. So I feel like working with David, it was just, oh my God, it was just a great experience. Working with Whoopi Goldberg, the whole cast was basically just absolutely fabulous and wonderful. Just all around, everybody basically was a wonderful and a great experience working with everyone.
Cool. I didn't notice this until I was doing my research. I've watched this show every day, like as a kid growing up. But you also played the role of Julie on Full House. How was it
Yes.
on that set?
Wow. Like I said, at that time, I was one of the hottest actors that everybody was basically looking for because I was landing a lot of guest spots on a lot of different things. And of course, you got Candace, you got Jaleel, all of them were basically that hot commodity at that time. So what they were doing was putting all the hot commodities together to just really just shine. And I tell you, it was just a great experience working with Candace and Jaleel and just the whole cast period over there. It was just, like I said, all my experiences have just been great and wonderful. I still know a lot of these people today.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. I also saw that you did a Coca-Cola commercial in 1994. Can you tell us more about that experience, what it was like doing that commercial?
That big voice, that's what they were looking for.
Oh, okay.
They knew me from that big voice and all that funk that I had. Working with the girls, it was just such a great experience. They actually wanted to do a girl version of the Coca-Cola commercial that they had previously did for the guys. They were at college, and they said that they needed a girl version of that. So just a great experience. I spontaneously just opened up my mouth on set and did that part and jumped up on the couch and they were like, perfect, we need that. She needs a bottle in her hand. Put the bottle back.
So are you more of a Coke drinker or are you more Pepsi?
At the time, I was actually more of a Pepsi drinker because my mom used to like Pepsi. So yeah, but at this time, I basically am soda free.
I'm trying to get that way too, but I can't fight my cravings.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So from 1996 to 1997, you also played the role of Dorothy in the U.S. national tour of the musical The Wiz. Can you tell us more about that, and how did you land that role being in that show?
It was actually was supposed to have been an audition only for New York, and I couldn't get to New York. And of course, they saw me on several different things that I had did. So I actually did a taping and sent the video to New York, and they picked me right there. They said, she's it. She's the one that we want. So I did an audition through videotape, and I went to New York for 2 weeks to rehearse in a studio, and we took it out on the road. That was my first experience doing stage plays. I was so used to doing sitcoms where we stop, cut, and go. So I was very nervous to even do that. I didn't think I could really pull it off. But once I got up on stage and I knew my lines and I was confident in my voice and I was confident in my acting, I just took it and I ran. And it was such a great experience working with Cece Peniston, Tony Terry, Grace Jones, Howard Hewitt, Peter Bryson. I worked with some really big names at the time. And it was just such a great experience. First day out, I was nervous, but the show went off great. And we did the show for about 3 weeks. It was supposed to have been a 3-year tour, but it ended up only being actually 3 months. 3 months. 3 months.
Oh.
But when I tell you, it's the best experience of my life, and I would love to get back to stage plays.
That must have been like such a different experience though, because even though you practice and you go through everything, there's still that chance for a bit of a mess up, whereas with which you kind of have to just kind of go with it on stage, whereas with the sitcoms you could be like cut, redo, film over again.
I do recall some of the times where people kind of forgot the lines. And it was just like playing off of one another, just spontaneously, just knowing what um, the storyline is about. When you really know the storyline, that makes it all the more easier and better for you to just ad lib. And a lot of the time, we did ad lib. I remember one night, Tony Terry was they forgot to mic him. And when he came out, he realized when he came out that he didn't have his mic, and so did everybody else. So what I did as a professional, as a pro, I ended up taking my mic from around my ear and holding it up to him so he can do his lines and actually sing his song.
That's a good way to improvise.
Yeah, we had to improvise. A lot of things we had to actually improvise. I know one time I was doing Keys on Down the Road, and the whole mic just fell to the floor. But all I did was I picked it up, tucked it up under my arm, and kept on going. As they say, the show must go on.
That is true. The show must go on. So we're going to jump ahead quite a few years. On September 2014, you also released a book called Don't Limit Me. What was the inspiration behind that book, and where can our listeners get a copy?
Not my book. Sorry to tell you, I've never released a book, so that must be someone else.
Really? Okay. I'm sorry about that.
No worries. I've never released a book yet.
It's coming. So what? I also saw that you also have been in the music scene. What made you decide to get into music?
Well, music is my first love, and music is the reason why I moved to Los Angeles from Louisville, Kentucky. I sang all in Louisville, Kentucky, and then I just told my mom that I needed to go to a bigger place if I wanted to become the star that I needed to be. So music has always been my first love. I came here to Los Angeles, started singing here in a lot of nightclubs all around LA, and then just really getting into the scene of everything and just meeting people, and got into the acting, which was a big plus for the music. I got signed with Michael Jackson's record label. I had worked with so many people like the Commodores, the Whiskers, Patti LaBelle. So music has always been like the heartbeat of Tasha, and I just came here and just kept going and just kept reaching for the stars to get to what it was that I needed to get to, and that was my first love, which is music. So music is the heartbeat of me.
Cool. And also, speaking of you being signed to Michael Jackson's label, how did you get connected with them, and did you get to meet Michael, and what was he like?
Oh, yes, I did. Actually, I met Michael at the age of 14. My mom had knocked on Stevie Wonder's door. Those Stevie Wonders that, you needed to hear. You got to hear my daughter. You got to sign her to something, do an album with her, a record with her. So he had heard me sing. He introduced us to a friend of Michael's. She used to do jewelry for him, so she introduced me to his head security guard at that time by the name of Bill Bray. And he said, you need to meet Michael. So at that time, I was 14 years old. I met Michael. I recorded about five to six songs at the Encino home here in Los Angeles. And they still actually have those songs. And I have like stacks of those songs. So years later, when I was doing South Central, when we rapped, we only did 10 shows, 10 episodes. When we rapped, we had the rap party. There was a man there by the name of John O'Cohan. John O'Cohan said, I need to introduce you to Michael. Funny thing was, I told him I had already met Michael at the age of 14, and I recorded music at his house. So he said, well, he should remember you. So he took me to Sony, which was Sony/NJJ at the time. He took me to Sony, and I met Jerry Greenberg. And I sang to Jerry Greenberg, and I think in about maybe a little under maybe a month or so, I was signed to NJJ, which was Michael Joe Jackson's record label. And he actually remembered me. He was like, "Yes, sign her because she's a great singer. She's it. She's got the it thing." And I was signed to the label for about 2 years. I did a full, complete album, which was never released, but I do have those wonderful songs in my vault. And it was just a great experience to be signed to his record label from 14 till about, I think I was about 23 or 24 when I got signed. But before I was signed to his label, like I said, I met him at 14. I was able to spend time with him. He gave me a lot of great advice. I was able to spend the night at his home with Kidada and Rashida, that was Quincy Jones' two daughters. It was just a well-around, great experience just to be in his presence and for him to give me a lot of the advice that he did, you know. I love him for that. You know, Michael is the man. You know what I'm saying? And you couldn't get no bigger than being in his presence or even being signed with his label at the time. And everybody was just like, no, and there's not a lot of people that can say that. You know, so I always think about that, you know, like when people do ask me, what was the biggest thing that you have done or you've been involved in? Well, to be signed with Michael Jackson's label, to actually be in a room with him, sleeping across from him in his room, having a slumber party. Like, who could really say those things? Well, Tasha can.
That's cool. Must have been such a thrill, like to be around, well, the king of pop and working with him.
It was, but I think for me, being so young when I had the opportunity to be there to record and spend the night, I was just a teenager. So it came off to me when I met him. I wasn't starstruck. I wasn't screaming and jumping up and yelling. When I was actually playing a video game. He tapped me on my shoulder and he was like, "Hi, Tasha." And I turned around. I said, "Hey, Mike." And I went back to playing the video game. I was just being a kid. And that's when he said, "I love her." And I kind of felt like he said that because I wasn't like, "Oh my God, it's Michael Jackson," just going crazy. You know, he was like, I love her. She's cool.
That's so awesome. And you've got some great memories of him from that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got memories. I remember he shut down the whole Toys R Us for me, Kidada, and Rashida. And he told us to go in there. We could get anything we wanted. And me being such a humble kid, you know, at the time, I picked up a Barbie doll. And he was like, "That's all you want?" And I was just like, yeah. Next thing I know, we was walking out, and I had roller skates. I had a bike. I had a Barbie house. I was just like, whoa.
Holy. Oh, wow. He seems like he was such a nice, down-to-earth guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was. You had to have met him and really had a one-on-one conversation and just really sat down and talked with him to really understand who Michael was. And you could really feel his heart. You know what I'm saying? So that was just my experience of such a great man. Such a great man. So kind. He was a lover. He loved the world. He loved everything. You know, that's what I got, you know.
That's just, wow, such amazing. And, you know, rest in peace, Michael. You know, the world misses you.
Yes.
So we're going to jump to, in 2011, your ballad Gone was on the soundtrack for VH1 hit reality show Brandy and Ray J, A Family Business. How does it feel knowing your songs on that soundtrack?
We actually are very close with the family, which is a really good thing, which was a plus. So I was actually out of town, and when I came back, they had needed another song, and so we worked it out where I could put the song on there Gone. And I actually co-wrote and I co-wrote the song. So I actually wrote the second verse to the song, and it was just it just fit. It was like they needed that filler, and they was like put Tasha on it, and the song was great. So it was just such a great experience that I was able to be a part of the project.
That's cool. I've always loved Brandy's music when I was growing up. I always listened to her when I was younger, so that's cool that you got to work with her.
Yeah, she's a wonderful girl. Wonderful. The whole family.
And you were signed to the Xania Music Group. How did that record deal come to be, and what is it like working with them?
Zanaya Music Group. That is actually a baby of mine. He actually created that company. Me and my partner, Lamar Tribble, we created that wonderful company. He wanted to, basically, I told him, I said, it's hard trying to get signed to a major company or get someone to notice, my music. And I told him that I wanted to just put music out just for people to enjoy. So he studied it, and he worked with some wonderful people to show him how to basically come up with your own company. And as he was doing that, he asked if I could come up with a name. And so I came up with the name Zanaya Music Group. So basically, it's an outlet for me or people that I would like to put up under the company just to be able to allow the world to hear their music. So basically, I have my own company that I can just release music at any time because I know how to do the format. My partners are real good at the format. So that's basically how Zanaya Music came about. So it's basically my own company with partners, and that's how we basically release my music.
That's cool. That's awesome that you have like your own label that you can put your music out on.
Yes, to me it's easier, but of course you do need to know how to do your promotions and stuff like that, because now it's easy now to create your own beats or find people that can do beats for you. Now a lot of people are writing their own music today, or you can find writers, and once you get that part of it, now it's easier for me to just release my own music and just basically do my own promotion. Now I can double back and get people to come and do that. Of course, it's going to cost you a lot to do that, but once you find that niche and understand what it is, basically do your homework and do your own studying to do your own thing. Nowadays, it's such a wonderful thing to do, especially with social media now.
That's true. That is true. So recently you released your album Moonchild. What was the inspiration behind that album, and where can our listeners buy or stream that album?
Moonchild came about because I started doing a lot of research within myself, soul searching, and I started soul searching as like my sign, because I'm a Cancer. And I said, what does Cancer really mean? What is the sign of a Cancer? Well, the sign of a Cancer is a moon, and she is a moonchild wildcat. So, and it just struck me. It just struck me, in my soul that, wow, I am a moonchild wildcat. So this is why I have started calling myself Moonchild. And I wanted to create a song that represented it kind of like, Moonchild. And that's my favorite song on the EP is Magic. So when I started creating Here We Go and Magic, that's when I said, I want to name the album, I want to name the EP Moonchild. And I got a few people say, oh, no, that's not. I said, but it's not about how you feel. It's about how I feel and what I want to give to the world. So I said, I think I want to name the album, the EP Moonchild. And I told the artist I want to be able to put my face in a moon. Sorry about that. But, and so that's how it came about. That's how Moonchild came about. And I was so excited for the release date. Oh, I was just so excited. So basically, you can find the EP on all musical outlets. That is Tidal, Spotify, uh, YouTube. You can find it on all musical outlets. You can actually, I have a link in my Instagram bio where you can actually click it, and it'll take you right there where you need to go and purchase it.
Perfect. So this is the time, Tasha, that I like to give the guests that come on the show a chance to give shout outs to whomever they'd like to give shout outs, and also social media handles so that our listeners can follow your journey.
Absolutely. Well, you can actually follow me on Facebook at Tasha Scott fan page. You can follow me on Twitter at the _R hashtag, not hashtag, is the R _Tasha Scott. You can follow me on Instagram as Tasha Scott, aka Pink. So I hope that makes sense. But if you can't find all of that, I always say the easiest thing to do is just Google Tasha Scott, and all of my handles will pop up. And basically, I just want to give a shout out first and foremost to myself, and then to my late great mother, Joy Scott, to my children. A big shout out to them because they've been rocking with me since they've been born. To my partners, Lamar Tribble, to Victor, and all of my fans. I just absolutely love you guys. I adore you. And I thank you so much for rocking with me and following me with my career.
Most definitely. And actually, Tasha, I have one more question. What's next for you? Do you have any new projects, any new albums or music, movies coming out?
Actually, I'm just working on new music to release. I'm thinking about either releasing a full album or just an EP. The EP to me sounds great. So that's what I'm doing now, writing and producing and working with just local artists and local producers. Sorry about that. And actually, I'm just working on like my own shows, like either talk shows or maybe like a 30-minute, 45-minute TV show. So that's what I'm creating as a cancer does.
That's awesome. So yeah, listeners, follow those social media handles and stay tuned because like she said, she's got some new projects coming out, TV show, music, stay tuned and, you'll be able to find it.
Absolutely.
All right. So I just want to say, Tasha, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was definitely an honor for me because, like I said, I grew up watching some of the shows and that you were on. So it's so cool for me to be able to talk to you today.
No problem.
All right. Well, thank you, Tasha, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Stay safe.
Thank you. You as well. Stay safe out there.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.